What sort of adult raises their voice at a customer for improperly folding towels? Travis Johnson halted the podcast, streaming in his car, and gazed out the windshield. He sat in his vehicle, positioned across the street from one of his laundromat establishments, specifically store number 3 out of a total of 5. On a Wednesday morning, the sun had yet to fully rise above the buildings. Over the past 12 years, he had meticulously crafted this laundry chain from the ground up, beginning with a loan and an antiquated coin-operated machine in a challenging neighborhood. The focus was meant to be on honoring the workers, the customers, and the communities they supported. However, recently, there had been a sense of unease. The customer service scores at Store 3 have significantly declined over the past 2 months. He received ambiguous responses from the district manager, while Dean, the store's manager, attributed the issues to unmotivated staff and difficult customers. Travis was unconvinced. He had yet to encounter the majority of the recent hires at Store 3 personally. The company experienced rapid growth over the past 2 years, expanding to 5 locations and employing more than 50 individuals, making it impossible for him to be present everywhere at once. However, that certainly didn't imply he would allow matters to pass without action. Today marked the beginning of his undercover mission. He had removed his beard, deepened the color of his hair, and donned bold, thick-rimmed glasses. His typical button-down was swapped out for a worn hoodie. He ambled with a subtle limp, a clever ruse picked up from a theater school companion, and presented himself as Tommy, a temporary worker brought in by a cleaning staffing agency. The store manager reportedly sought assistance for the week, citing a shortage of staff as 2 part-time employees had recently resigned and 1 full-time employee was on medical leave. As he entered the laundromat, not a single person glanced his way. The air was thick with the scent of bleach and dryer sheets. The automatic doors whispered closed behind him. At the counter stood a slender man with neatly styled hair, engrossed in his phone. He kept his gaze down. Travis cleared his throat, a subtle prelude to the words he was about to share. "Hello, I'm Tommy, the temporary staff member from Westside Staffing." The man finally lifted his gaze, irritation evident on his face. "Indeed, yes. It seems Dean brought up a point. Why not check in with Becca for some guidance?" Travis's eyes fluttered open. Becca, the guy gestured toward the back, where a young woman in her 20s was neatly folding towels by the industrial dryers. Her hair was styled in a lengthy braid, and her sleeves were pushed up beyond her elbows. She appeared completely absorbed, not even lifting her gaze when a dryer chimed in the background. He strolled over. "Hey, Becca," she glanced up, her eyes narrowing momentarily. "Indeed, I am Tommy, the temporary worker." Her demeanor became gentler. "My apologies. You caught me off guard." Dean didn't mention that anyone was beginning today. "Indeed, it was to be expected," Travis murmured. She offered a faint smile. "All right, let's get started. I'll guide you through it. We're really busy today." In the following hours, Becca guided him through the essentials of sorting, folding, and delivering. Pick-up orders to the front. She moved swiftly yet with precision. She transformed the act of folding clothes into an art form. She meticulously reviewed the tags, carefully reorganized the laundry bags to prevent any damage, and took the time to clean the machines between each load. "You always do this much?" Travis inquired. Becca gave a nonchalant shrug. "I make an effort." "If I don't, no one else will?" She cast a look toward the front desk. "Troy has remained in that chair since morning." Travis cast a quick look his way. The man at the counter, Troy, was now engrossed in videos, the sound turned up high. Patrons drifted in and out, largely overlooked. At midday, a woman entered, carrying a modest stack of wet garments. She appeared anxious, her gaze flitting between the devices. "Excuse me," she inquired softly. Troy remained still. The woman made another attempt. "I apologize for the interruption. I simply require assistance in adjusting the settings on this washer. It isn't initiating." Troy finally raised his gaze. "Excuse me, but it's a washer. Press the button." "I certainly did. It seems to be malfunctioning." With a heavy sigh, he rose to his feet and made his way over. Travis moved to the side, observing intently. Troy toyed with the buttons, then glanced over at her. "Perhaps it would be best for you to continue with hand washing if the machines are too perplexing." Becca paused in her task, her eyes widening in surprise, while Travis stood up straight. "Hey, that wasn't needed." Troy glanced at him. "Who asked for your opinion, temp boy?" Becca stepped forward. "Troy, please," but Troy had more to say. "I feel like I'm not compensated fairly for having to guide every lost customer that comes through the door." Travis gazed at the woman. "I apologize, ma'am. I'll take care of the washer. You haven't done anything wrong." She appeared visibly unsettled, and in that moment, Travis resolved to act. He turned to Troy. Troy blinked, signaling the end. "Excuse me? I instructed you to finish. Up and clock out. I won't be dismissed." As a temporary worker, Travis dug into his hoodie pocket and retrieved a neatly folded ID, revealing his true name and an authentic photo of himself. "My name is Travis Johnson," he stated. "I possess this space, silence enveloping us." Becca's jaw dropped while Troy stood frozen, ashen-faced. "Travis remarked that you disrespected a customer publicly. That doesn't reflect our identity. You're dismissed." Troy hesitated, yet Travis remained unfazed. He gestured towards the door. At this moment, Travis remained motionless for a brief moment after Troy burst out, the glass door slamming shut behind him with a resonant thud. The woman he had offended remained close to the washer, her arms wrapped firmly around her chest. She appeared torn between the urge to walk away and the impulse to weep. Travis approached her softly, his voice barely above a whisper. He expressed his sincere apologies for the recent events. "I'll ensure the washer is functioning perfectly for you, and your next wash will be complimentary." She nodded softly, avoiding his gaze. Her hands shook slightly as she passed him the card she had been using. He refrained from posing any further inquiries, simply adjusted the settings, initiated the wash cycle, and placed a printed voucher on the folding table accompanied by a handwritten note. "Complimentary wash. No expiration date." Near the sorting station, Becca was gathering the towels that had tumbled down when she accidentally dropped a stack earlier. Her gaze was elsewhere. "Are you all right?" Travis inquired. She nodded slowly. "I was caught off guard by that." "Neither did I," he remarked. "How long has he been in that state?" Becca paused, uncertainty flickering in her mind. "From what I've heard, he's related to Dean as his cousin, even before I began, evades consequences effortlessly." Travis experienced a heavy sensation pressing against his eyes. "Did Dean stop by this morning?" "It should be submitted by noon." She glanced at the clock. "He has not arrived yet." Travis surveyed his surroundings. The waiting area was occupied by 3 individuals. 2 were engrossed in their reading, while the third fixated on a flickering ceiling light. A dryer chimed in the background, prompting Becca to step forward and retrieve its contents. "I'll assist," he stated. "No offense," she whispered, "but you likely have no idea how to fold hospital gowns." He beamed. She offered him one, challenging him to take it, fold the seams inside twice along the length, then attempt to fold again. "They are intended for the clinic located just down the street. If anything is amiss, they'll return it." He adhered to her guidance. She examined his initial 2 folds, then offered a slight nod and handed him additional ones. They toiled in quietude. For a time, the cadence of folding and stacking resonating in the air around them. The hum of machinery and the sporadic ring of the door provided the sole disruptions. At 12:30, Dean strolled in, sporting sunglasses and holding a smoothie cup. Initially, he overlooked Travis. "Becca, do you know where Troy is?" he inquired, his voice raised and filled with irritation. Becca cast a quick look at Travis before moving aside. "Departed," Travis replied. Dean removed his sunglasses. "May I ask who you are?" Travis arched an eyebrow. "You approved my temporary shift through the west side." Dean narrowed his eyes, and then a spark of recognition lit up his expression. "Absolutely not." Travis removed his glasses. "Path." Dean's lips parted, yet silence lingered momentarily before a nervous chuckle escaped. "Him. All right, I see how it is. This must be one of those unexpected drop-ins, right? Are you attempting to catch us off guard? I found it quite effortless." Dean's expression tightened. "I had no idea Troy was acting that way. If he crossed a boundary, I'll have a conversation with him." "He has already left," Travis stated. Dean blinked as if time itself had paused. "You let him go?" "I certainly did." Becca returned to her folding, yet her ears were attuned to the sounds around her. Her hands worked. On instinct, yet her gaze remained fixed on the two men. Dean's smile flickered. He could be a bit harsh at times, but he's still family. You're familiar with the experience. Travis replied, No, I do not. Dean adjusted his stance. Very well. I will make the necessary adjustments to the schedule. We will handle it. How? Travis inquired. There's Becca along with another part-time team member. Now that Troy has departed, you're left with just two. You informed the agency that you were already experiencing a shortage of staff. Dean appeared annoyed. I've been doing my best to cover things whenever possible. I'm putting in my utmost effort here. Travis took his time before replying. He moved behind the counter, opened the staff schedule binder, and leafed through the past 3 weeks. Dean had not completed a full shift in more than 10 days. Often, he recorded incomplete hours without any accompanying notes. On several occasions, it was merely Becca and the cleaner working the evening shift. Travis gently shut the binder. Becca, he uttered, his gaze fixed elsewhere. When was the last time you enjoyed a complete day of rest? She responded without a moment's pause. 8 days prior, Dean took the plunge. We've received call-outs that is beyond my control. You have the power to decide if you want to be present, Travis stated with an unyielding tone, while Dean's voice took on an edge. What is happening? Do you believe I'm not contributing enough? Travis cast him a weary, lingering glance. It seems you've been taking a back seat while someone else manages everything, and you've allowed your cousin to disrespect both customers and colleagues while avoiding accountability. Dean's jaw clenched. One cannot simply enter and disrupt the entire order. From the very beginning I constructed this, Travis remarked. I will go to any lengths to safeguard it, Dean said, stepping forward and lowering his voice. You'll come to wish you hadn't let him go. He's part of the family and he shares his thoughts. Travis stated that he has no concern about whom he converses with. You are currently under probation. You will be working from start to finish for the next 5 days. Without any room for excuses or avoidance, Dean let out a scoff. Are you really serious about this? If I decline, then you are free to go as well. Dean fixed his gaze on him, then shifted his eyes to Becca, who remained at the folding table, her hands moving with an urgency that seemed excessive. At last, he grumbled, Very well, and strode into the back without uttering another syllable. Travis glanced over his shoulder at Becca. Have you ever considered taking on the role of a shift lead? She raised her gaze gradually. Are you making an offer? She paused for a moment, contemplating whether you would want it. If it allows me to cease compensating for those who fail to appear, then absolutely. Excellent, he remarked. Take it as your own. The official title and salary adjustment will be communicated shortly. I will take care of HR matters. She offered a deliberate, thoughtful nod. At 2:30, the afternoon influx of customers commenced. Travis remained on the floor, managing tasks, cleaning machines, and assisting Becca in bagging and labeling an order for a commercial account from a nearby vet clinic. A high school senior, named Lewis, the other part-timer, showed up right before his shift began. His expression was one of astonishment upon spotting Travis behind the counter. Are you the new guy? Lewis inquired, somewhat hesitantly, to which Travis responded. Becca remained silent. She simply passed Lewis a bottle of detergent and gestured towards the back corner. That, along with the 2 duffel bags of clinic scrubs. Opt for medium heat instead of high. With a determined nod, Lewis set about his task. He maintained a calm demeanor, yet his efficiency was evident, as Travis observed, him meticulously double-checking each machine setting prior to initiating a load. By 5, the pace had eased. Becca finally paused for a moment, perching on a stool while sipping from a bottle of water. Travis rested against the counter. Text. Have you ever considered giving up? He inquired. She let out a half-hearted chuckle. 2 times each day. What brought you to this place? She hesitated before responding. I thought that if I walked away, things would only deteriorate for the next person in line. Travis met her gaze, then gave a single nod. Not any longer. She arched an eyebrow. Are you saying that because you experienced one bad day, or do you genuinely believe it? I truly mean it, he declared. I shall return tomorrow, unmistakably myself. We are embarking on a journey to transform this space, beginning at this very moment. Becca completed her drink and rose to her feet. Very well then. Let's find out if you can fold the next order perfectly. Challenge embraced. The door chimed softly, announcing the arrival of yet another customer, this time pulling along a suitcase brimming with clothes. Travis turned to greet them, not in the role of a CEO, but as someone who had finally recalled the passion that had ignited the creation of this place in the beginning. The following morning, Travis showed up bright and early, long before the doors swung open. This time, he chose to forego any semblance of a disguise. He donned his typical jeans and work boots, a dark pullover, with his company badge affixed to his belt. The closed sign on the glass door offered him a brief pause, a chance to collect himself before re-entering the chaos he had begun to untangle the previous day. Within the confines of the room, the fluorescent lights hummed softly above, while the atmosphere retained a subtle hint of detergent mingled with the warmth of heated steel. Becca stood by the back row of machines, her hair casually tied in a loose knot. She was listening to music, yet she spotted him right away and removed one of her earbuds. "You've arrived ahead of schedule." Becca shook her head and tossed a cleaning rag into a basket, a subtle gesture that spoke volumes. The sole method to have everything ready before the morning hustle. "Do you sleep at all?" she asked, giving a half shrug just enough to get by. He refrained from pushing. Instead, he made his way to the back room. Dean is present, and Becca gestured toward the office door with a nod. Arrived 10 minutes. Ego kept quiet. Travis rapped lightly on the door before entering. Dean sat at the desk, carefully unpacking a sandwich alongside a chilled bottle of iced tea. He glanced upward and offered a strained smile. "Good morning," Dean said. "I didn't anticipate your arrival at this hour. I thought that if I'm requesting you to put in a full shift, it makes sense for me to be here as well." Dean reclined in the chair. "Hey, regarding yesterday, just don't," Travis mentioned. "Apologies hold no value for me. I seek to ensure responsibility. Let's concentrate on that." Dean's jaw tightened, yet he gave a nod. Travis chose not to linger for any additional dialogue. He stepped back outside and began inspecting the dryers for any accumulation of lint. It lacked elegance, yet so did the act of allowing chaos to ensue while feigning ignorance. At 8:30, Louis made his entrance. He appeared more alert than the previous day, headphones resting around his neck and a notebook secured under his arm. He acknowledged Travis with a nod and immediately set to work unprompted. At 9, the initial surge commenced. A woman entered, pulling a hefty cart laden with 3 oversized bags filled with supplies from a grooming service. Becca stepped forward, labeling the bags and recording specific instructions. Travis assisted her in placing one onto the sorting table. It was completely drenched. "Is there a leak?" he inquired. "Most likely. Transport bins are not always sealed properly." Travis stifled a sigh and offered his assistance regardless. As he hoisted the second bag, his gaze caught a man in a crisp navy suit lingering by the door, observing intently. The man advanced with purpose. "I am in search of the manager." Becca cast a quick look at Travis as he moved ahead. "I hold ownership. How may I assist you?" The man remained utterly still, his gaze unwavering. "I represent Clean Pro Uniform Services. We have been attempting to connect with someone regarding your contract. According to my drivers, our bins have not been returned for more than a month. That constitutes a breach." Travis cast a quick look at Dean, who remained stationed behind the counter, feigning interest in a clipboard. "I had no idea there was a problem," Travis remarked. "If bins are absent, we will locate them and ensure everything is corrected." The man squinted his eyes. "This is not the initial caution we've provided. Should those bins not be returned by next week, we will impose full replacement charges." Travis acknowledged this with understanding. "Provide me with a list of what's lacking, and I will handle it myself." The man presented a printed memo, gave a brief nod, and departed in silence. Travis glanced over at Becca. "Have you come across any of their bins?" She gestured toward the rear wall, piled up behind the water heater. "Dean mentioned he would bring them back last week." Travis made his way to the rear. Indeed, there stood 8 sizable plastic bins, each adorned with the Clean Pro logo. They were piled carelessly, with two of them showing signs of damage. Lewis materialized next to him. I nearly stumbled over. Those last shift. I thought they were worthless. Travis cast his gaze toward the office door. That's the second strike. Just as he was about to continue, a disturbance broke out at the front. A young lad stood by the vending machine, his expression fraught with anxiety. A newer employee, a woman in her 40s with short cropped hair and a name tag that read Carla, stood over him, arms crossed. "Did you overlook the sign?" Carla erupted. "Prohibido merodear. Your purpose isn't to clean anything." The boy remarked that he was merely waiting for his mother. "She is currently parking her vehicle." Carla let out a derisive snort. "Of course, I've noticed you here before. Please step outside." "And wait there." Travis advanced with purpose. "What's happening?" Carla remained still, children hanging around. I instructed him to remain outside. The boy's cheeks glowed with a rosy hue. He appeared as though he wished to vanish. Travis mentioned that he is waiting for his mum. "That's not loitering," Carla said as she turned. "I'm merely ensuring the safety of the space. Recently, a group of children took a box of detergent pods without permission. Could it be this child?" She paused, uncertainty flickering in her mind. "No, but one must exercise caution." "That is not the way we should treat others," Travis stated with conviction. "Come with me to the back." Carla wore a frown but trailed behind him to the supply room. Travis shut the door softly, sealing them in their own world. That was simply not acceptable. "I was merely attempting to maintain some semblance of order. You judged a child without any basis." He seemed like a real problem. Travis's voice lowered. "Your judgment shouldn't be influenced by appearances alone." "That's zero tolerance." Carla's expression grew stern. "Am I being let go?" Indeed, she let out a scoff. "Beyond that, certainly. We will not be the type of establishment that ejects individuals based on their attire or the hue of their hoodie." Carla chose not to pursue the discussion any longer. With a swift motion, she snatched her bag and exited, leaving without a word of farewell. Travis made his way back to the front. The young boy sat beside a woman who unmistakably was his mother. She appeared troubled. Becca was presenting each of them with bottled water. Travis made his way over. "I apologize for that. She has moved on from this place." The woman inclined her head with deliberation. "Thank you for your kind words," he said as he looked at the boy. "Feel free to stay here whenever you like." The boy offered a faint smile. Becca pointed to a cart filled with freshly laundered towels. "We must have those organized before the afternoon pickups." Travis gave a slight nod. While assisting her, he caught sight of Dean observing from the other side of the room, arms crossed. "Issue?" Travis inquired. Dean strolled over. "So you're planning to let people go right in the middle of their shifts if they step out of line, is that correct?" Dean let out a derisive laugh. "Your team is going to dwindle. Then I will reconstruct with individuals who truly merit the position." Dean moved in closer. "You have no idea what it's like to navigate this on a daily basis." "Indeed," Travis acknowledged. "I did not. That is the reason for my presence at this moment." Dean averted his gaze. "Your actions are exacerbating the situation." "No," Travis replied. "I'm bringing out their truthfulness." Dean sighed, his head shaking in disbelief as he turned away and strode off. Travis observed him leave, then redirected his attention to Becca, who was silently watching. "Are you still in?" he inquired. Becca presented him with a neatly arranged stack of folded sheets. "I'm here to stay." As the afternoon rush approached, Travis had a conversation with the Clean Pro rep once more, arranged for the bins to be picked up, and assisted in reorganizing the supply shelves. He compiled a list of damaged carts, battered hampers, and absent labels, items that had gone unreported by anyone. At 5, he requested Becca to secure the place ahead of schedule. She paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "Only for a brief hour," he mentioned. "It's essential for us to have a discussion as a group." Lewis and Becca settled themselves close to the front, while Travis lingered by the counter. Dean hung back, his arms folded across his chest. Travis cast his gaze upon them. "I established this space to cater to the needs of others. You're part of that too." At some point, I became oblivious to the events unfolding within these walls. Silence enveloped the room. I take full responsibility for that. Now that I've noticed it, I'm making the necessary adjustments. This place is set to become the norm, rather than an anomaly. Becca gave a slow nod. Lewis lifted his gaze from the pages of his notebook, intrigued. Travis pressed on. Beginning next week, we will be adding another full-time team member. Each of you will receive adequate days off. Enough with the quiet exhaustion. I'll be here every week, putting in the work, not just dropping by, Dean muttered. Travis turned to him, saying, "So now you're a shift worker as well. There's just one more day for you to demonstrate your desire to be involved in this. If that's not the case, I'll seek out someone who can." Dean remained silent. He simply stepped out through the front door. Becca rose to her feet. "It turned out even better than you hoped," Travis remarked. "I didn't come here seeking solace," she smiled. "It seems you didn't discover any." Travis extinguished the lights sequentially. The soft whir of the machines gradually diminished. The silence had transformed, no longer void, but rather pristine, as if something had been thoroughly cleansed away. The following morning, Travis chose not to enter through the front door. He entered through the side delivery door, carrying 2 replacement hampers and a box of new folding gloves. He had dedicated the late evening to gathering whatever he could from the main warehouse, coming to the realization of how much equipment at this location had been overlooked or left unreplaced. The morning air lingered on the concrete floors, infused with the sharp aroma of lemon disinfectant that permeated the atmosphere. Becca was present at the location, replenishing the detergent jugs from the rear shelf. Her gaze lifted the instant. The door let out a soft creak. Never expected to witness an owner carrying hampers, I thought that if I'm asking others to shoulder the burden, I ought to contribute my fair share as well. She crouched to slice through the plastic wrap binding the gloves, her gaze fixed elsewhere as she spoke. Lewis sent me a message. Dean failed to appear for his shift. Travis glanced at the clock. He was given time until 8, nearly 9 o'clock. Becca rose to her feet, brushing her hands against her apron to remove the dust. "What would you like to pursue?" He acted without a moment's pause. "We progress without him." He took hold of the office key and unlocked the back room. Dean had abandoned a clipboard, a partially consumed bottle of energy drink, and a drawer brimming with unopened correspondence. Travis quickly scanned the pile, finding mostly supplier notices along with 2 unopened invoices from a commercial client. He glanced over at Becca. "Are you at ease with taking on that role, even if just for a short time?" Becca crossed her arms. "I lack experience in management. You've been managing this place without the official designation. That matters to me." After a moment of uncertainty, she gave a single nod. "As long as payroll isn't part of the equation, that aspect fills me with apprehension. I'll hold on to that for the time being." By 10, the initial regulars started to show up. Travis remained at the loading station, assisting with the oversized bedding and meticulously sorting the delicates into netted bags. The day's tempo shifted. It remained bustling, yet a certain harmony emerged. Even Louis, arriving a full 15 minutes ahead of schedule, took note of it. "It seems more subdued," he remarked while putting on a pair of gloves. Becca responded, noting that the absence of shouting over the dryers usually contributes to a more peaceful atmosphere. Travis left it blank. He observed a young woman grappling with a damaged cartwheel at the forefront, with a toddler balanced on one hip and a laundry bag persistently sliding off. Her shoulder, she navigated her day with a mix of determination and grace. "Wait a moment," he said, stepping in to assist. He exchanged the cart for one of the new models and presented her with a small bundle of detergent pods. He mentioned there would be no charge today. "I've got everything under control." She smiled, taken aback. "Thank you. This is my first visit. I sincerely wish it won't be the final one." As she strolled away, Becca leaned against a nearby counter. "You're managing quite a bit of fallout. I aim to surpass that." He ventured into the back to retrieve zip ties for the sorting bins and observed an unusual disturbance. The industrial dryer closest to the wall was rattling more intensely than normal. He knelt low, pried open the panel, and discovered the filter clogged with a mass of melted plastic. It was evident that the cleaning schedule had been overlooked. He glanced at Louis, who was diligently cleaning the folding table. "Could you tell me when this dryer received its last service?" Louis gave a nonchalant shrug. "No one seems to have examined it since I began. That was more than a month ago." Travis disconnected the machine and affixed a handwritten sign to the front, declaring it out of order until further notice. "Avoid using." He gazed at Becca. "We'll handle that matter privately. Maintenance will be scheduled for tomorrow. It seems we're left with just 5 dryers now. We will find a way to make it happen." In the mid-afternoon light, Travis called Becca and Louis to join him at the back table, shortly after the final commercial pickups had been dispatched. He mentioned that someone from HR will be stopping by in an hour. They will assist in posting the opening for a new full-time position. "I would appreciate your assistance in reviewing the applicants." Becca's expression was one of astonishment. "You're allowing us to make the choice. You have a deeper understanding of what this role demands than I do." Louis inclined his body, eager and attentive. "Are we able to suggest someone?" "There's someone dependable, my cousin. He's been putting in night shifts at a car wash, yet he's on the hunt for a more stable opportunity. Please ask him to come in tomorrow. We'll conduct a trial on the floor." Becca arched an eyebrow. "You have faith in our decision-making. I have confidence in your understanding of what this place requires to function properly." The automatic door swung open, revealing a man clad in a pristine pro-delivery uniform, clipboard firmly grasped in his hand. Travis nodded in agreement for the bin return pickup. At the rear, 8 in total, with 2 of them cracked. The man inclined his head. "You hold the reins. Typically, it's rare for owners to reach out regarding these types of issues." "I don't typically have to," Travis remarked. "However, I am working to redefine what is considered normal in this place." The man offered a brief nod, rolled the bins outside, and departed quietly. By 4, the store had settled into a serene stillness. The final loads were drying as Becca perused the schedule on the office computer. Travis sat opposite her, massaging his temples. "Are you okay?" she inquired. As she contemplated the path ahead, her gaze settled on the screen. "We're still in search of someone to cover the Saturday shift. Louis is unavailable in the evenings." "I'll take care of it," Travis said. Becca lifted her gaze. "Honestly, I mentioned that I would be here. That encompasses weekends." The ensuing silence was not at all awkward. It was consistent. As the event came to a close, Travis strolled through the space alongside her. They meticulously examined every machine, polished the counters to a shine, and replenished the coin dispensers with care. Upon arriving at the back door, Becca secured it with a lock and passed him the key. "Do you want this returned to the safe?" "No," he replied. "It belongs to you now. You hold the position of floor lead." She accepted it silently, her thumb gliding over the weathered brass edge. The sky outside had transformed into a gentle shade of orange. The street lay still, a hushed silence enveloping it, now that Louis had departed. Travis lingered on the curb as Becca glanced at her phone. "I'll be here at 7 tomorrow," she stated. "I'll take care of breakfast. Definitely not if we're talking about gas station burritos." "All right, wholesome meals, eggs, perhaps some pancakes." She offered a smile, yet remained silent. As she strolled toward the bus stop, Travis observed her departure. He felt no sense of victory. He felt anchored, as if a long-lost rhythm had been restored. He pivoted, gazing up at the unassuming laundromat nestled on a bustling street, and secured the front door with a decisive click. Tomorrow they would embark on the journey once more. This time, it would be the very place he had envisioned from the beginning.